Before we begin, I want to make sure that you have the Unleashing You retreat on your radar, because just the fact that you're tuning into this podcast means the Unleashing You retreat is right up your alley. The reason I created the Unleashing You retreat is because as women, we tend to look to everyone else for the answers. We somehow think that everyone else knows better than we do, when in reality, tapping into your own intuition is actually the key to living a happy and fulfilled life. And that's how I've created the career and life I have now, and what we'll teach you how to do during this retreat. An inner shift like this will leave you with tools that you'll use for the rest of your life. This retreat is so much more than a girls' trip. This is a transformation. If I've piqued your interest, I want to personally invite you to join us in Steamboat Springs, Colorado on September 19th through the 22nd. During our time together, we will go through coaching workshops and other deep personal development activities that will uncover aspects of yourself you never even knew. Work like this would take months or years to do on your own, and we're going to get you there in just a few short days. Not to mention, we'll be staying in a gorgeous mountain home, complete with a private chef, so you don't have to lift a finger. If you are ready for a pampering getaway where you can recharge your batteries and feed your soul, send me a message on Instagram or visit acrprofessionalcoaching.com to learn more and reserve your spot. Spots are very limited, so do not wait. And I'll see you in the mountains. Now, let's get on to today's show. Welcome to Unleashing You. This podcast is your permission slip to create success your way. I'm your host, Amanda Riffey, a certified success coach and female business leader who has climbed her way up the corporate ladder. I've been through burnout and back and found the tools to bring fun and enjoyment to my career while creating powerful results and leading in a way that feels authentic to me. This show brings you conversations with women just like you who have created massive success for themselves and are doing it in their own way. We'll hear about their personal journeys of growing their career while still prioritizing the things they love most. If you are ready to be challenged and encouraged to reach your next level, then buckle up, sister, because the road to dreamy success begins here. Let's dive in. Welcome to a very special episode of Unleashing You. For this episode, I wanted to do something a little bit different. Most of the time when I record a podcast, I prep a lot ahead of time. I have an outline, I know exactly what I'm going to say, or I'm interviewing a guest and we've kind of prepped some potential questions or just how we want that conversation to flow before we hit record. Today is a little bit different. I did not prep ahead of time. I did not plan an outline. And I just wanted to talk directly to you from my heart. I had this idea this morning as I was reflecting and looking at the calendar and noticing that this month marks the 1-year anniversary of the Unleashing You podcast. And last month marked the 2-year anniversary of my business. And those of you who know me know that I am definitely very goal-oriented. I want to achieve a lot. I've obviously got big dreams and big goals. And I really have to force myself to look back and really sit with what I've accomplished, who I've become, the things that I have achieved so far. Because I'm always looking ahead. And so I really have to make a conscious effort to sit in
the celebration. And I do that so well for my clients. I want to celebrate them daily, but I do struggle to do that for myself. And so as I was thinking of this, I thought, you know what? Why don't I just do a podcast episode to talk about who I've become over these last 2 years and what's next for me and the things that I have been able to achieve so far, but not just from a standpoint of, hey, look at me, these are all the things I've been able to do, but really from a standpoint of, if I can do this, so can you. In my business, I want to lead the way and show you what is possible for you. So yes, I do these things because they light me up. They fill up my soul, all of those things. But I also do it to show you that if these things are possible for me, these things are possible for you as well. So I want to take you back to who I was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was working full time in my corporate job. I had been with the same corporate company for 16 years, working my way up. I was a corporate girl through and through. And I was at a point in my career where, for maybe the first time ever, I didn't know what was next for me. I was feeling that itch for something more, for something different, but I didn't know what was next. I wasn't sure that I wanted my manager's job. And I was like, well, I can move to this team or this department, but I just wasn't sure what that really looked like for me because nothing seemed to really fit completely. And I was reading a book at the time. It's called Money, a Love Story by Kate Northrup, if you want to look it up. And that book got enough of a little seedling of an idea that, you know what, Amanda, if your team is running really well, if you've got the extra capacity right now, what if you started something on your own on the side? What if you created another stream of income for yourself? So I didn't want to just go get a part-time job. I really wanted something that was going to fill me up, something that was going to get me excited and create another stream of income for my family. So some of you know this story already, but I did some soul searching. I went to my calendar where I keep literally everything. And I said, okay, what are the parts of my job that I just absolutely love? And what came out of that exercise was the very top thing that I loved was the one-on-ones with my team. I looked forward to those conversations. I loved the career growth aspect, the personal growth aspect. I loved the aha moments. I loved watching them grow into their next level in their careers. And I just felt so inspired after having those conversations. So I was like, okay, cool, but how do I make that into a job? That's when I just went to the internet and I did days of internet research and just looking for, anything that could be a possibility. I went down every rabbit hole. I said no to nothing. And I bookmarked quite a few things along that path that could be potential opportunities for additional income. One of those searches brought me to coaching. And as I was reading through, as I was learning more about coaching, I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is the thing that checks all the boxes. It is career growth conversations. It is personal growth conversations. Can work one-on-one with people just like I would with my team. I could have 1 to 2 clients here or there on the side, when I wanted some extra income. I could keep my corporate career. It really seemed to fit everything that I wanted to do. And so from there, I said, okay, well, now I need to, do I need to get certified? Like, what's the next step? And so I started researching schools. I started researching programs to get certified and went to my husband and said, hey, I don't know where this is going to lead. It might lead nowhere. I don't know. But I just feel like this could be the next right step and maybe get us, some potential side income if I went and got certified as a coach. And y'all, I love Matt. He supports all of my crazy dreams, even if he can't see it yet either. He was like, yeah, go, do what you need to do. I had already figured out, how I was going to pay for it, where we were going to get the money from, all of the things. And he was like, yeah, go do it. If you feel like this is what you need to do, then this is what you need to do. So I want y'all to know I was very excited about what, the potential this could bring. But I was equally parts terrified and scared. This was one of the biggest investments financially I had made so far in my career. I knew nothing about doing anything on the side myself. Like I said, I've been in corporate for 17 years, 16 of those with the same company. So it was very, very scary to put myself out there and even to tell other people that, hey, I would like to coach people. I would like to help them build their careers, help them build their lives. And so that was probably the first time that a lot of those limiting beliefs started to come to the surface for me. It was, are you sure you want to do this? What if this fails? You're investing a lot of money. Is this even a smart decision? Who is going to buy from you? Like, what makes you qualified to do this? All of those imposter thoughts. I kind of gently pushed those to the side and said, you know what? I'm doing it anyway. I'm going to do it anyway. And so I enrolled in a coaching program. And that was the first time in my life that I actually started getting coached myself as well. I kid you not, within 3 months of being coached myself while also learning coaching tools, I had opened up a whole new realm of possibilities for myself. I was starting to dream really, really big for myself. I was starting to change my career trajectory and thinking, you know what? This is what really lights me up. And that's what I think is so powerful about coaching, that is so hard sometimes to put into words in marketing material or Instagram stories or posts or whatever, is the transformation that you feel inside when you are being coached, when you go through a coaching experience yourself. Because I went from really thinking, these are my options. I can either, work towards my boss's job, or I could move to this department or this thing, or I could get a comparable job at a different company. Those are the things I thought were my options. And that's a lot of when I work with my clients, very similar to what they think too, of, okay, I can do this or I can do that. And when you go through coaching, you start to see so many more possibilities for yourself that you could not see before. And that is what I think is just so, so incredible. And why I always say, like, I am no different than anyone else doing this, because I went in with the same mentality of, okay, I could have, it was scary enough to think I could have 1 to 2 clients here or there on the side. But when I realized, no, like, you could do this for your job. You could work this into your corporate career if you wanted to. You could potentially speak on stages down the road. You could, host a podcast at some point. All of those types of things I did not think were possible for me. So I really want you to take that home, that if you're sitting there thinking, okay, yes, that's cool for you, but you're just built different than me. You have more confidence. You are more achievement driven. You're this, you're that. I'm not any different. I went into this feeling so scared to even brand myself as a coach at all. And I looked back recently at the first video that I posted that was asking for practice clients, because when I started that coaching program as a student, I had to start coaching right away And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like, that is not what I do. I prep, I prepare, I learn all the tools, and then I do. Then I am qualified. Then I can XYZ. But that's not the way that program worked. And I am so, so grateful that that is the way they designed that program for multiple reasons. One, it made me such a better coach in a shorter amount of time because I was practicing what I was going to do. There's only so much you can learn from a book. We practice by Jen Gottlieb. If anyone follows her, says this all the time. You get better by putting your reps in. She's a public speaker and she's like, I don't just show up on the stage for the first time and this speech goes amazing. No, she practices in front of the mirror in a dance studio over and over and over again. She gets her reps in. She practices and practices and practices. And that's how then when it's game time, she shows up and knocks it out of the park. And that's what that coaching program did for me, was it allowed me to practice when I would have on my own been way too scared and felt like I wasn't ready to do that. This program forced me to do it before I was ready. And the other main thing that has then stuck with me in my business to date, and, now I have it tattooed on my arm, feel the fear and do it anyway, is what I have realized looking back at all of the things I have been able to accomplish over those 2 years. And even more important, who I have become over those 2 years is all because I have done things scared. Going through that program for the first time and coaching people scared made me realize that that's how I get better. That's how I get better quickly. And so I've taken that mentality with everything that I've done. Many of you know the story of me creating my first Unleashing You Live event. If you haven't heard that story, you can go back in the archives probably from like January-ish on the podcast where I talk about that story. But I was terrified. I did not think I was ready. There was no way I had enough credibility, connections, money, any of those things to be able to host that event. And guess what? I said yes to it anyway. I learned along the way. I broke it down into small actions that felt manageable at the time. And the end result was such a beautiful, incredible day with 50 plus powerhouse women in a room, all pouring into each other, leaving so inspired to take action on their big dreams. And now I'm leveling it up for next year with 2 days of events, a VIP session. We're having an incredible new venue that is next level from last year. I'm actually going to do a whole podcast episode about what's to come at Unleashing You Live. But every time I'm meeting my new edge, I'm doing the things before I feel ready. Now that I've tackled Unleashing You Live before, I could easily do the exact same thing again. But that would feel comfortable for me now. And so I like to get out of my comfort zone because I know that's the fastest way for me to grow and for me to step into my potential. So I'm up leveling it for 2025. So stay tuned for more information on that. Or you can check out my Instagram. It's all over there too. But hosting my first retreat, absolutely not ready for that. It did not seem logical. But I just had this calling to feel like, yeah, I think part of you thinks you can do it. And I did it. And it was perfect. When I say perfect, it really, really was. The women who were there, the aha moments, they all walked away with a life-changing new realization about themselves or their career or where they wanted to go next. The chef was incredible. The house was incredible. The location, everything was perfect. And again, if I had waited until I felt like I feel so ready for this, this is definitely the next step for me, I wouldn't have hosted a retreat yet. It would still be on my list of things I'd love to do someday. I wouldn't have hosted a live event yet or be on to my second one. I wouldn't have started this podcast. But I bet on myself now. I trust myself now. And every time I do something and I follow through with it and I make that next dream come true, however big or small it is, I'm showing myself that I will show up, that I can bet on me. And that's what I want for you too. Because if you would have asked me 2 years ago what we'd be doing today, creating epic events for those career-driven women, hosting retreats in the mountains, being asked to speak on stages, hosting my own podcast, writing my first book, completely pivoting my career and working with my dream clients in a coaching capacity every single day, I would have thought you were completely crazy. But I no longer think that that's crazy. I think we deserve it. I honestly think we deserve to live out our dreams. We deserve to believe in ourselves and create success that feels so aligned with who we are. My husband forgot something at work, and so I had to bring him something to his office, and just took a minute while I was in downtown Castle Rock he ordered me a burrito because he's the best. And I sat there and ate my breakfast and did some work and sat in the sunshine. I was like, oh my gosh, my schedule allows me to do this. My schedule allows me to switch up the location of where I'm working or sit in the sunshine for a little bit. And that is what I've been able to create for myself over the last 2 years. I feel so aligned and so filled up by what I am creating in my career that I've never felt this way before. And that is what I help create for my clients too, is we really can be filled up by our careers and help that career align with traveling when we want to, having that financial freedom. Even though I will be very honest with you, that's one of the things I am personally still working towards as well, is that financial freedom. But I know that it's coming for me. I know that if I just keep going on this track, it is coming, because now I trust myself. Now I bet on myself and I don't give up. I will keep going until I have created it. And that is what I want for you too. I have leaned into my dreams over the past 2 years. I've overcome beliefs that were holding me back. And I felt the fear and did it anyway. I am so thankful to that girl in 2022 who took a leap of faith, honestly, into the unknown. I owe everything to that version of me. Because without her taking that first terrifying, scary step, I wouldn't be here recording this today. And I know that in 2 years from now, I'll be looking back and thanking this version of me for not giving up when it felt so hard and scary and so much easier to go back to the way things were. But man, it is so dang worth it. So that's what I would love to leave you with on this episode as I reflect back on the past year of this podcast, the past 2 years of my business, is you have the potential within you. You have the ability to create whatever type of career works for you, for your life, whether that's being on the corporate track, whether that's being a female founder or a founder of your own business, whether that's somewhere in between, having that 9 to 5 and having a side hustle. You deserve it all. You deserve to have the balance. You deserve to have the happiness, and you deserve to enjoy this one beautiful life we've been given. So I hope you've enjoyed this special episode. I would love to hear your feedback. Connect with me on Instagram at @AmandaRiffy_coaching. Let me know if this resonated with you, because I don't just want me to succeed. I want all of us to succeed. I'll see you next time.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. If you'd like to continue this conversation, connect with me on Instagram and say hello. You can find me at AmandaRiffy_coaching. In the meantime, if you know you are ready to step into the next incredible version of you and want to completely accelerate your personal and professional growth, let's work together. I offer one-on-one private coaching as well as workshops and in-person events. There's really something for everyone. To learn more, visit my website at acrprofessionalcoaching.com or send me a DM on Instagram and start a conversation. And don't worry, I truly want all of us to succeed. So I promise I will never steer you wrong. Let's create a career and life you love. Chat with you again soon.